G'day Internet. You've seen one of these GN250s before from Purpose Built Moto, but you definitely haven't seen one like this. Let's get into another build rundown on our version 3 GN250 Scrambler. The GN250 was actually the first customer build that we'd ever done in Purpose Built Moto. I finished building my GS550 and then the GN was the next one to roll in from a mate of mine, Nick. Since then, we've built one more and then this is the third. They're a super fun bike, light, reliable, and heaps of fun no matter where you're riding. With this one, we got started with the Fmf Exhaust System and lifting the suspension. Now what we've done here is retrofit an Fmf Power Core 4 off a motocross bike onto the 2-in-1 headers. The GN is a twin port head that has a 2-in-1 system that links up underneath the engine. So we've retained the stock headers, fitted the aftermarket muffler, and then made our own little stainless steel bracket there. We've also lifted the rear suspension quite a bit. This is probably lifted up about 25-30 mil. That requires a little bit of modification when it comes onto the rear brake linkage, but it's not too difficult to do on the standard setup. Of course, we've hooped the tail, and then another major modification that we've done here is the rear wheel. These are quite difficult to find off-road tyres for because normally they run a 16-inch rear tyre, which no one makes anything decent off-road for. So we've stripped the hub, relaced it to a black Excel 18 rim, and we're running a 19 on the front as well. It makes it easier to get off-road tyres for, just makes it handle better all around too. As I said before, we've got our now short tail hoop here. We haven't modified the rear subframe too much. A brat style seat covered in some nice simple black leather with the medium grain, done by a Timeless Auto Trim, super nice job as always. We've got our Frenched in Purpose Built Moto 3-in-1 LED indicators. We've used the silver hollow tip type here, super clean finish and really functional. These things are nice and bright, no matter where you're riding or what you're up to, even if they get a bit of mud on them. And then we've also used our tail tidy kit on the rear as well with the plate light. Sort of kept everything nice and short and tidy here. We didn't want to go too long on the seat. These things look really good when they're sort of bunched up across the middle, especially with the big wheels that we've chucked on it. The suspension that we've used is a YSS shock. These have been custom built for the length and weight of the rider that we needed. We have a local supplier in Australia for those who's been really helpful so far. We've hollowed out the midsection of the bike, we've done away with the airbox, mounted the battery underneath the swing arm with a few other electronics components, and then everything else is just bolted onto this cross rail here. We've upgraded the carburetor too using a Mikuni flat slide. When we rebuilt the engine in-house here, we've done a bit of porting work on the head so the thing free flows a little bit better. When you jump on and ride the thing, you can definitely feel it. The carburetor upgrade is a really worthwhile addition to these bikes. On the handlebars, we've kept things really simple. We've reused the standard levers, mounted our Scrambler mirrors on the lever pivots here, which keep things really nice and clean. We've got our 2-button silver push-button switches and hidden the starter button on the bike. So normally we'd have it on the handlebars. We've sort of decided to keep things minimal and tuck that away. We've got an upgraded domino throttle, some full diamond grips, and a Daytona digital dash, which is a really good addition that's just hit our online store. So come and check that out. This Daytona dash is an all-in-one speedo and tacho. It's also got all your signal lights and indicators, and if your bike has allowance for it, it has a gauge for your gears, a fuel gauge, and also a charge meter, which is a pretty handy little addition. On the front of the Scrambler, we've also retained our factory lighting mounts. So a lot of the time with our 5.75 and 7-inch headlights, you can just use your factory mounts to fit them on and they look quite good. So that's what we've done here, using the factory indicator mounts and headlight mounts to mount our new LED gear up on. Everything's sort of tucked in nice and tidy, the wiring's hidden away underneath the tank, and of course we've got a black box sitting underneath the seat too to tidy up everything and make sure everything functions as it should with your handlebar buttons. The front fender that we've used is our universal aluminium fender, but we've done away with the stainless steel mounting kit that we supply and just gone with a simple aluminium plate setup. So we've custom cut that out, fit it to the new diameter front wheel and fit it on. We also had to do a little bit of work on the front suspension because we've lifted the rear and these are sort of a cruiser setup that have quite a relaxed rake. It makes this front suspension quite soft, so we stiffened that up, used a heavier oil so it handles a bit better on the street now. When you normally modify the rear end, the front end gets a bit pillowy, I guess you would call it. It's just a way too soft to ride. So we fixed that up, replaced our rubber brake hoses with the new braided line. It gives you a bit better brake performance, new pads, cleaned the rotors up. We've also done the front wheel here with the XL rim stainless steel spokes. For the colour on this bike, because we didn't have too much to worry about, we've got this tiny little tank and an even smaller fender. I talked to the client, he'd always liked the idea of the PNG flag, the black, red and yellow, so I decided to work that in. We've actually just gone over the stock tank details here. As the GN250 comes out, it's got these really nice stripes on it. The tank's a great shape, it suits it perfectly. So we've just gone over that with the colours that we wanted and matched it on the front with a nice deep gloss black. That's going to wrap it up for V3 of our GN250 Scrambler. We've taken you through all the mods, and as I mentioned before, this was one of our first customer builds, so it holds a pretty special place in my heart and PBM history. So I'm going to take you out for a little test ride. I've just picked up a new GoPro 360, so let me know what you think about the new ride angles. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys. this is the part where your favourite YouTuber is going to ask you to subscribe to their Patreon. Luckily for you, we're not YouTubers. We're bike builders and parts makers. So if you like the content we create and the bikes we build, or you hate both of those things and just want to grab some gear for your next project, make sure you show your support, jump on our online store and give your bike that Purpose Built Moto touch. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.